Let's play darts. Ladies and gentlemen, a 24. It's even worse than a 26. I should be grateful for the number of 26s I've had after throwing a 24. Not a single one of those darts was straight, which is probably why I'm focusing much more on 19s, and we're going to do some more of that today. We're going to do some scoring today, but that's not the main priority. The main priority is actually, well, it's you. You're the priority. You're always my priority. And the comments I've been having, as I'm always grateful for, so many have said, why don't you just play around with your equipment? You mess around with different darts, different stems, maybe go back to the classic flight and stem combo rather than K-flex. And I want to do some of these things. We're going to give this a go. You may or may not have noticed, those you see in the board right there are short stem K-flex. Normally, and since the dawn of this channel, I've always used medium flights and stems very early on, and then I moved on to K-flex, and I stayed with these mediums, and this is what you would have seen on the last couple of videos, is our mediums, and these are the shorts. So just to give you a little idea for those who are unacquainted with the differences here, you're looking at, I could probably have held this in a much more professional manner, but that gives you an idea of the length difference involved. Not a huge amount, and perhaps maybe playing around with some long stems as well will be interesting. But what we're going to do today is, because I like my statistics, I'm a scientist really. You know this is an educational channel. I'm science based. So we're going to compare, and it's only a one-off, but we're going to do 15 sets of 3, 15 visits, scoring at the 19s of course, with our short stem. And then we're going to do the same thing with our long stem, and we're going to discuss some of the benefits and also whether or not it's working for me. So look, the main difference is when you've got your medium stem and you maybe or long stem and you drop down to something shorter, what you're doing here is you're changing the center of gravity. So when you've got a long stem, the center of the dart is around here, right? And then once you've got your short stem, it comes here. So this is going to, so it's basically short stems will normally suit players who are front grippers, and longer stems tend to help more mid to rear grippers. But there's other things involved. For example, they'd say that short stem is more suitable for more rhythm players who throw with quite a bit of pace. Those who throw with a little bit more smooth and slower tend to prefer medium and longer stem flights and stems. But it's also each to your own. There's no rights and wrongs in this game of arrows. I've noticed that. There's no perfect way to approach this game. Let's throw a couple of darts. We'll still need 20, just 1 minute. I'm just trying to get used to these. See, what I can do is I can blame all my terrible darts on these K-flex. And you know what? That's part of the reason why, guys, I've been reluctant to mess around with equipment. Certainly through my first sort of 9 months of playing, I kept thinking and saying, oh, it must be the darts that don't suit me. And having that in my head meant I had to keep changing the darts until I was settled in the mind. But now I'm like, well, I'm of the opinion, really, that if you're not very good at throwing darts, it doesn't really matter which darts you throw. You're going to probably be a bit pants. So I felt like my focus needs to be on all the technicalities of my throw and basically trying to be consistent. And it doesn't matter if I'm consistently bad. As long as I'm consistent, then we can mess around with things. But it has been known that I've been wrong before. I'm not sure if you knew that, but to be fair, I've never been wrong. There was one time I was wrong, and then we looked back and we worked out that I was actually right. And so, but I have been wrong, I think, and I could be wrong on all of these things. So keep those comments coming. Look, I'll take on your advice. So what we're going to do, let's start. Let's get going. I'm going to throw in 19s. We're going to do scoring. We'll see how we get on with this short stem. and I'll see if there's any difference with the going back to the mediums. Right, let's get this party started. Right, 9, 12, 31. Not the strongest start. If we hit above 50, pretty good. Pretty good on the scoring front. It'll be interesting because also the shorter stems tend to be a little less forgiving. A bit like having a lighter dart. That people say start with a heavier dart. Get used to that because you can get a bit more control over it in many ways, certainly when you're beginning. And then you tend to get lighter as you get better. But look, once again, there's no sweet spot. Ryan Searle throws like 30-gram darts. So that's poor. Concentrate, man. Ooh, better. Nice sound. Another 41. A better 41. Well, actually, the first round was 31. So it's a better score. So there's lots of players who play with the short stems as well. I think you've got like Gary Anderson, Gerwin Price, MVG. I tend to have shorter stems, and then you've got longer darts even, but that you see like Luke Humphreys using and players like that. So like, it's everyone's different. Everyone is different, and we'll see. I'm very different. I don't have to tell you that. That's poor. Oh, 29. I mean, based on my throw, because I'm not a rhythm player, the maths and the science there does tend to indicate that I would be better with the longer stem. But let's see. I'm open to ideas. That's poor dart thrown, though. That's kind of what I'm saying here. It doesn't really matter what I'm throwing if I'm throwing bad. That's better, though. 79. Also, the shorter stem tends to, the dart will land flatter in the board generally, whereas the longer one, a bit more floaty, So that can suit different throws as well. .45. Right. There we go. Look at this grouping. Shameful. 59. 59. So, I mean, I'll be honest, not really noticing a difference. I'm not going to stand here and say, oh, I feel much better throwing these or I feel much worse. Right now, feels like I'm just throwing darts like I normally do. And probably that's something to do with my lack of ability. Whereas if you're a better player, I'm sure you'll really notice and feel the differences quite soon. That's just me guessing. Ooh, 95. And this is good practice for me. And as you know, I'm just focusing on 19s in my matches this month. Already feel more confident. I actually averaged last night. Oh, it's poor. 13. No, I averaged last night 60. Now, there's a caveat there. I played an extremely good player. Shout out to Reese. He's a 65 average player. He averaged 70 something. I didn't even get a dart at a checkout. So it was a scoring average. But for me, a scoring average above 60 really was pleasing. And that I hadn't hit a 60 plus average in a match for the whole of October. So I already feel I'm reaping some of the benefits. 45. And, you know, having these stray darts, hitting that 7 is so much better than my standard poor dart, which goes in the 1. 6 more points every time. That adds up. Oh, look at those. Beautiful. It's only a 57, but the grouping, the consistency. My elbow mustn't be, I'm sure it's still moving plenty, but it's consistent with every throw. Poor. Poor. 29. So we're going to do a similar video to this in a week or so. Maybe less. That's terrible. 41. We'll do a similar video where we'll see how this goes. But I want to compare my K-flexes to going back to the old school, the old fashioned, they say these days, the classic flying stems. People have said in the comments, some people have messaged to say, I went back from K-flex to flying stems and there was a big difference. I'm gonna give that a go. And so get in the comments, guys, what else shall we test and try? What other ideas have you got for me? Oh, just about squeezed in there. Almost got a hat trick of treble sevens there. It's 49 though. Oh, Samson, back that up, man. 67. One go left. Now, it would be nice to get a 50 plus average here, which would mean I'd have to hit a 70 or more here. A little bit of pressure. Pressure, let's try and do that. Oh, Samson, the final dart, 45. Right, so we average there, 48. 48, which isn't awful. Isn't horrendous for me. But now we'll obviously use back to the medium stems and see if there's a difference, and it will be interesting to see because I'm throwing them straight after, so I've had a real feel of those. And I don't really want to say that there was any significant difference I noticed. And that's okay. I think really what you need to do is, if you're really not sure of some of these things, because you can have good sessions and bad sessions. And I mean, personally, I'm going to have good 3 darts and a bad 3 darts and so on and so forth. So if I was really unsure, I would play this game every day for a month. One lot on the short stems, one with the medium stems, and I look at the scores and I will check out the average and go with that one over, because you can't do it over one sitting. You need to do it because, first of all, I've just played with the short stems and then I'm going to play with the long stems. That could be advantageous for one of those. Maybe because I'm warmer, or maybe because it's going to be difficult going from short stems to these. So if I was to do this again, I'd then do it the other way around. So start with these, go on them, and then keep tracking those scores to see where I'm at. I think that's a really foolproof way, and you don't have to do it with this. I'm doing it at the moment with my Oki stance. So every day I do this scoring game, and I'll do it on this right-hand side, I'll do it in the center, and I'll do it on the left. And I've been monitoring the scores to try and work out where I'm at. Is there a position on the Oki I just throw better at? Because you can do all these games with the string, and you can just stand in the center, and you can see where your elbow's lined up. But for me, I really need to see it in black and white. Right, let's get going. Oh la la, 25. I mean, I think there is a slight disadvantage going from the shorts to the mediums because it's taken me a little bit because they feel heavier. You can feel there is a difference in the balance of the dart, for sure. So that is interesting. 57, 64, 71. Poor dart, that one. 41. Poor dart. 41. Consistent at least. Yeah, so doing it this way, I can just blame the equipment for my bad darts today. Poor that is though, that's terrible. $41. What's going on here? Can't miss that 41. I think we just got to choose whichever stems hurt my feelings least. Oh, 47. $29. Yeah, I just wouldn't be able to make this decision after just today because I do feel like, in a way that the short stems were better, but I'm now thinking maybe that's because I've thrown with them longer. And then switching has taken me a little bit of time. $41. Right, we've got to find that treble now. Got to start finding that treble. I knew I shouldn't have. In a match, I would not have gone for that again because it was too far to the right of that bed because I knew that would happen. Because it was a great dart, that second dart. Hit it, but it's ricocheted. I'm going to move over. Naive. 79. Naive inexperience. Poor. That's lovely. Lovely comeback. 79. Bounce back ability. You know, every dart is an opportunity to redeem yourself. I mean, you see players all the time. They'll throw 2 darts, they're poor. They'll just chuck the third one in anger. Well, you just missed out on big points. That's poor though. So's that. Straighten your body up, man. $29. Right, how many goes we got left? Haven't got a huge amount here. 4 left, I think. 4 goes. We're averaging 47. Very similar. Very similar number. So these last 4 will be very interesting. Ooh, 21. Lowest score of the round, I think. One of them. Full 59. 59 with 2 to play. Let's try and get 2 trebles with these 6 darts. Move over. 41. Right, big final 3 darts here, guys. Poor. 41. Not the best darts I've thrown today, even with the short stems and long stems. 45 average on there. So look, the short stems came out on top in that round. But like I said, really, you can't just have a decent session with something and think that's the answer to all your problems. But you guys in the comments may have seen something I haven't. Let me know what you think. I'd love to know if you use long stem, medium stem, short stem. What is your stem and flight setup? Whether you use K-flex, whether you use different shaped flights, some kites or whatever random shape you use. I'm a random shape. So let me know in the comments. I want to hear about you and what you do. And if you saw anything there of interest, I'd appreciate it. Somebody's already sent me a game invite. Who is it? Mark. Apologies, Mark. I'm in the middle of a video. Well, I'm at the end of the video. So maybe I'll play you in a minute. I'll see you, though, next time. Goodbye.